We are going to talk about the reading section of the Kaplan Nursing Admissions Test, or the Kaplan Nursing Entrance Exam. 22 questions in 45 minutes. This is going to be all passages. So you're going to have about 3 or 4 passages. You're going to have 4 to 5 questions associated with each passage. And you're going to see questions like, which side is the author on? What's the main idea? What's the purpose of this paragraph? What is the author trying to say, right? Those are the kind of questions you're going to see. There's a bit of debate about, should you read the passage first or should you read the questions first? Go back to the passage. I've watched every video out there for the Kaplan test so that you don't have to, right? I listened to what everybody said, kind of came up with a consensus, and I've been in test prep for almost 20 years, so I kind of have an idea as well on which way you might want to lean towards on this, and it's definitely read the passage first. And then when you see those questions, you're going to know it's in the first, second, third paragraph. It's at the ending. Main idea might be right up there at the top, beginning paragraph. So, don't take too long reading through it. Kind of skim through, read it quickly, get to those questions. You can go back and reread. You've got 22 questions, so you can't really afford to miss a lot here. You have 45 minutes, so it's a little bit of a time crunch, but you can't afford to miss these questions. So you need to know each and every topic that we're going to go over here in depth. Our editorial team has, analyzed this test. They've actually sat for this test a couple of times, so they understand, every single topic, and that's what we're going to give you today. A lot of times when you've got 4 answer choices, you're going to have like a very realistic answer, and then you're going to have a very unrealistic answer. And you're going to have 2 answers in the middle. And those 2 answers in the middle are the ones that are probably going to be the correct answer. You need to understand that most of the time, the answer is going to be in the passage. If you're not able to read it in the passage somewhere, it's probably not the right answer, right? So in many cases, that's going to be the way it works. And you might have something where intuitively you might know that a particular game can be played with 10 players, but in this passage they talk about the game being played with 6 players. And so one of the options will be like 10 players because they know that most people know that and it's just intuitive. But don't fall for that. Don't get tricked. Make sure if it says 6 players in the passage, that's going to be your answers, right? So your answer's usually right in front of you. Okay, so keep that in mind. Another tip and strategy is knowing what type of passage it is. So you'll get questions on that, like whether it's persuasive, argumentative, a technical narrative passage. And one thing you can do for that is really become more familiar with the keywords that help identify those types of passages, right? So if you see something like after a few days, not long ago, till next time, on the next occasion, from this point, it's a narrative passage. And you know that because you're familiar with these types of phrases and keywords that kind of help you identify what passage that is. You can make a list of keywords, know them and understand them so that you can quickly identify. You see a few of those words and you're like, boom, that's an argumentative passage. That's a persuasive passage. So that's something that can kind of help you. Let's get right into the actual topics that you need to study to prepare for it and do really well in this section. You're going to have key ideas and details, right? So that's like our main ideas and topic sentences, supporting details, summarizing text and using text features. So that's kind of knowing sequences or instructions, pick that out and understand it and be able to summarize the text pretty quickly. Know the tone, the mood that the author is using, transition words that they're using. Knowing the tone and the mood, look for repetitive words in that passage. The author could be pretty negative or pessimistic, or they could be very positive. They could be dismissive. There's a lot of different tones they could take, but what you're going to see is a consistent amount of words that are repetitive words that are used. And that's kind of your indicator on kind of what their tone is. No common transition words like first, second, next, now, for example, for instance, as a result, those types of things. Those are going to be transition words within a paragraph. They might ask you for that type of information and become familiar with those transition words and be able to easily recognize them. You have the author's purpose and point of view. You're definitely going to see probably some questions around this. You need to know the 3 types of purpose that an author can have, and that is to inform, persuade, or entertain. Look for clues to determine that point of view, right? If they're just kind of giving you a lot of facts and things like that, they're trying to inform you. So kind of be able to understand those things and be able to easily pick them out. Text features and elements that stand out, kind of evaluating that type of stuff. When they're introducing a topic and organizing information, be able to recognize when the topic is being introduced. They might emphasize concepts with things like bolding, italics, underlining, that kind of stuff. Know facts and opinions and be able to evaluate an argument based on facts and opinions. Know the difference between facts and opinions. You probably do already, but there's some things that can kind of trip you up. So be able to know that a judgment is not a fact. Those are two different things. Be able to know if an argument is a valid argument or a poor argument. And a lot of that is going to have to do with things like facts and where they're getting their sources from. So watch out for assumptions and biases. Those are things that make a poor argument. And some of that plays into kind of understanding primary sources. That's knowing primary sources, secondary sources, tertiary sources. So how close is that information? Is it, through your dad's, uncle's, mother's facts that they're throwing at you? Not very valid. Firsthand primary sources, that's going to be more valid. Be able to evaluate that credibility in the passage and from the author. So knowing the types of sources and references could be things like looking at the date of publication. If it's really old, probably not very valid or reliable. The author's info or their bio, did they work for the New York Times or did they never work for any sort of publication in their life? Probably going to be a difference in how reliable those sources are. The professionalism of the passage kind of give you an indication of all of those things, kind of understanding those sources and being able to draw conclusions about the passage based on those things. Know the types of passages, right? So there's going to be a couple different types. That's narrative, expository, technical, persuasive. Know the text structures, right? So within the structure of the text, there can be sequences of events or even like recipes have sequences. Do this first, then that, then this. Text structures could be comparing and contrasting, cause and effect, problem or solution, a description of some sort. Those are going to be kind of the types of text structures. And know genres, right? Most of us know genres and we're familiar with them, but be able to pick them apart a little bit more. And those are kind of fiction versus nonfiction. So be able to kind of understand when you're reading a passage what the genre might be. And that's going to be the reading section. Be prepared for it. Those are all the topics that you need to understand. Again, if you need more help on this stuff, there is the KNAT Tutor online course, KNAT Tutor and Smart Edition Academy, and there's also the print book study guide, right? So everything that you need to study all of these topics is in the online course and the book. You'll have access to video lessons, tons of practice tests, and really just practicing these passages, being able to read them quickly, identify the answers quicker, knowing some of those kind of keywords and things like that that help you identify what type of passage it is. All that info is in the book and the online course. Check out the links below. Subscribe to us on YouTube so that you get more notifications of videos like this. And join the Facebook group. I really look forward to seeing your comments. If you think I missed anything, put the comments down there and we'll take a look at everything. And until next time, good luck studying. Let us know what you think of this video and look out for the other videos. All right, good luck, guys.